Hi friends, I hope you are doing well. This is going to be a collective reading. It's not going to be so generalized. The two questions that I was led to ask is, who are you and what do you need right now? And I feel like you could be feeling a little lost in this moment in time. I was getting a lot of messages before I started. I'm going to start off with just what Spirit was giving me. I got the number 4. Foundation can be really important right now for you. You could be feeling a little ungrounded, unstable. Yesterday's message could also relate to some of the things that you're going through right now. You could have some major things that are affecting your foundation. And what I'm hearing is what I learned from Reiki about the 4 pillars of healing, or the 4 pillars of that just kind of lend to us being a more well-balanced person, which revolves around your mental space, your emotional space, your physical space, and your spiritual space. And in 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these spaces, you are experiencing some level of instability right now. I'm hearing that the more frustrated you get with it and with yourself, the further away the stability is going to feel. The more ungrounded that you're going to feel, the more frustrated you get with yourself and with this process. There could be some certain habits that you've been trying to break, some certain things that you've been trying to cut out, and you keep going through this cycle. And it could feel very frustrating right now, but I feel like release is what's important for you right now. Releasing expectation and not caring so much, as hard as that may be, is counterintuitive as that may seem. I think of the monks too, and like how a lot of what monks practice is around detachment from worldly possessions and worldly desires. I thought about this earlier, something about like using sex to cope. I hope they don't, but whatever. Whoever's meant to find this video will find it. But using like intimacy, physical intimacy to cope. I feel like there's something around you using it a little recklessly right now. You could be, and I'm feeling even with yourself. Like, this doesn't mean that you're like sleeping around, but I feel like even with yourself, like there's something about your physical intimacy with yourself that almost treats your own body like you're just using it to hook up. If you look into like Kundalini energy and things around like how powerful our energy is, it's really not something that is meant to just be used off of our base desires when we feel like doing it. Like, it should be treated as like this sacred sort of space. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but I feel like that there's something important around that. You could be healing from some trauma around that area, and I feel like that is why it's even more imperative for you to treat it like it's a sacred practice, and not treat it like and not just do it when it's this base desire for you, rather that's setting up candles, taking a nice bath. Like, I think there's something around romancing yourself that's very important right now, something around self-care in general that is very important right now. There's something inside of you that you are running from that you need to connect with. Today, I know I talked about the weeds yesterday. Today, a lot of them have been mowed down. They were actually mowing outside of my apartment. Weird, mowing everywhere. I don't know if it's because the grass is no longer wet because the conditions weren't conducive to remove the weeds. And today was a warmer day, or what exactly that was about. But, I was complaining about because I've never seen like the grass, even throughout my city, different people's lawns, like as unkept as it was. But today there was like a shift and everything was being cleaned up. And so you could feel some sort of internal shift. Like I said, you can almost feel like a stripping away of an old identity, and so it's leaving you in this space where you're questioning who you are, and you're questioning what direction you're supposed to be in right now. I see you on your knees, like pleading to God for an answer, like that very just, I mean, if you know how hard of a space that is to be, because it feels like you're alone. It feels like you're being punished almost, because there may be multiple things within your foundation that are being stripped away right now. I'm hearing family and friends could be significant as well. You could have lost a pet recently. You could have lost somebody in a physical sense, but you also could have lost, dealing with an energetic loss, an energetic release of somebody around you. But it's going to get easier, and you're going to see why that person, that situation, whatever this is, had to be removed from your life. I was hearing Bruno Mars, Treasure as your channeled song. That is what you are. There's something important, again, connecting that back to what I said about like treating your body in like this sacred way and romancing yourself. There's something important about your self-perception. You're not seeing yourself clearly for whatever reason. This person that was removed could have been heavily affecting your confidence and your self-esteem, and you weren't able to see yourself as a treasure, which is the way spirit, your higher self, however you identify with that higher power, that is how that higher power sees you, how that highest version of yourself sees you. And I feel like there's something very, very crucial and critical about you needing to see yourself as capable, as intelligent, as prosperous, as worthy. Because if you do not believe that you are these things, it doesn't matter how many things are given to you in life, how many things you're blessed with in life, you're going to trash every single one of them because you feel like you're not deserving of it. And so that is why self-concept is so important right now, for you. I was also getting, somebody texted me, a client asking, could I, and it's like 11:30 at night. There's confirmation burp. There could be something around late night text, something around people maybe, just hitting you up at all hours of the day. And I feel like there's something about that that can agitate you. Like there's this energy of you feeling like you always have to be available for everybody, and you resent it. You resent it, and the reason why you resent it, and this is why it's hard also for your this connection and relation. This might just be a complete channeled message sort of video. But what's interfering, help me find the thought again, spirit. What's interfering in this journey of you trying to gain greater self-esteem and greater self-confidence and greater self-worth is your lack of boundaries. Because you're subconsciously telling yourself, every time that you betray yourself, every time that you do something that you don't want to do for the sake of another person, every time, I feel like there could be something, I'm drawn back to what I said about the sexual intimacy, the physical intimacy. I feel like there's something about your body having been used in the past as a form of currency. And this doesn't necessarily mean like, like OF or things like that. I feel like there's something about the way that maybe in relationships, how you may have jumped to physical intimacy very fast because you felt like that was a concrete way of having, someone stay around. And I feel like this has moved into this space where now it's in these areas where, like I said, you feel like you are the person that everybody constantly kind of comes to at all hours of the day. It doesn't matter when. They don't ask you how you're doing. They don't inquire about anything that's going on with your life. They bring you their problems and they look to you for a solution. And I feel like there's something that is very important right now around your boundaries. And you can come up with excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse as to why you don't want to draw boundaries or why you feel like you can't draw boundaries. I don't, and I'm speaking to myself as well. But I know with like work, that tends to be where we really try to like, oh, I need the money, so that's why I'm just, I'm letting this slide or I'm letting that slide. You don't have to let anything slide. Everything is a choice. And yes, it has a reaction, but you really have to, I don't even like the word faith, because I feel like there's some room for like like I feel like you need to believe to the core of you that you are supported by, you know, this higher version of yourself, or that you're supported by God, that you're supported by spirit. Like, you really need, so what you could be lacking within this foundation is that spiritual aspect. Like, you could be a little loose on faith right now, or belief right now, and I feel like it's very crucial for you to have this belief, because if you do take a day off of work, you're gonna feel more grounded in knowing I'm doing what spirit needs me to do, to be in vibrational alignment with who I'm supposed to be. And therefore, everything I need is going to be supported. But if you keep operating from this space as if you are completely alone and there's no support for you whatsoever, and you're going to continue to kind of, I'm hearing, lean on your own understanding, you're going to continue to feel like you're trapped in any given moment. So I'm imploring you, and I'm giving you a little homework, if you will, the next time that you have the opportunity to draw a clear boundary or say no to something, if it's regarding work, if it's regarding a familial commitment. I know parenting is a whole nother thing where people kind of use a lot of excuses. I can't do this because I have and I understand that there's like, there's intricacies in that, but I'm imploring you to figure out something. Like, your happiness and your future depends on it. I need you to figure out a system that is going to work for you to be able to support yourself in one small way. Just start off with one small way. If that means putting the kids a little to bed to a little earlier, so that you can sit down and have a meal by yourself with candles, and like I said, find whatever moment that you can to romance and support and thank yourself for how much you do on a day-to-day basis, not just for everybody else, but for your own self. um Perfection stifling growth was another thing that I was getting. You are so worried about doing it perfect and having it look perfect and being perfect that it's stopping you from starting certain things. This could also be why you may have some ideas of some systems that you could put in place, but you are very much preoccupied with it being like this perfect sort of system, which stops you from ever starting it, and it is a form of self-sabotage. And so it's very important right now that regardless of what it's looking like, it's important for you to put it out. um you know, I don't know why I'm drawn to say this, but I feel like even with books, I've read like fully published books that have, some grammatical errors in there, and there's like a couple commas missing, and it doesn't take away from what you're getting when it's a good book. Like, you're not gonna, when you're done reading it, I mean, unless it's like no punctuation in there at all and it's hard to read it, like, what you're not remembering is, oh, I remember on page 50 that there was no comma. Like, I feel like there's something around whatever you've been working on that you've been afraid to put out because you're trying to make it perfect, and it's putting you in this state of stagnation, but it's also causing you to doubt yourself even more. That's why it's hard for you to figure out exactly how to heal this relationship with yourself, is because you aren't giving yourself the opportunity to do anything new. It's almost like you keep reminding yourself of every past mistake that you've made, every bad decision that you've made, um, every time that you feel like you've messed up or that you haven't followed through, and you keep reminding yourself of that, partly because it's your brain trying to protect you from going through a similar situation. But there's another part of you that truly does not trust or believe that you are capable of fulfilling what you want, because of the times before that you weren't able to, for whatever the reason. And so there's something very important about you That is why it's important for you to do it and it not be perfect and it be whatever it is. And for you to see and just have that moment where it's like, I did what I said I was going to do. I put it out. Because I feel like that feeling is going to out trump this fixation on perfection that you have that's kind of stifling you from starting whatever this is that you want to start. I'm getting this. I got the star card a lot. It was the first card that like popped up in my head. Confirmation burp. Treasure is what you are. You're my gold. I think he said something like, "You're my gold." Is it golden star? Like shining star. There's something about you having like this star energy. I'm hearing too. Heavy lies the crown. You're not messing up. You're not failing. Even with all of these things that I'm encouraging you to do, is so that you can see yourself more clearly, so that you can see that even though you feel like you're not aligned, you interacting with this video, being at this space in your life where things are being stripped and removed, that is alignment. Wherever you're at, you are in alignment. Even if it is extremely painful, even if the bank account is on zero, it is all for a purpose. But as long as you do not find the purpose in your pain, you are going to forever be a victim. And if you live your life as a victim, there is nowhere to go but maybe back. I'm going to actually look up the meaning of the star card. Just because I don't have the image to kind of interpret, and I'm going to jump down to the key. This beautiful symbol indicates the future, accomplishment, and goals are presently being developed. I'll go ahead and read the whole thing. The star is the positive aspect of the conscious level that is trying to comprehend the universal consciousness. We see a young man triumphant, having reached sight of his goals. He now has the confidence that success brings. His roots are firmly established. The tree of life is reaching out in new growth toward his higher consciousness. A beautiful bird brings in light of understanding, symbolizing complete rebirth of spiritual freedom discovered within him. Around the man are gifts of a new life. His hand has released from the sword and it is firmly lodged in the wall that leads to his new home. The star overhead will always remain in view. The key words are health, hope, and aspiration. I just, I feel like when I was deeply into like watching tarot videos, and when I was just so hungry, when I was in that space of just being so hungry for wanting change and wanting something different, I could not see how much progress was being made. I told my partner this, like, I think I've told him a few times, like, I have a voice recording on my phone of like, it was like towards the middle or end of July. I had been watching video after video after video after video, journaling, working out incessantly, meditating, full moon rituals, new moon rituals, candle work. I mean, everything that you could, tarot, pulling my own cards, everything that you are supposed, or that they say you're supposed to do, like I was doing, and I was not seeing absolutely anything that I really wanted come up. I wasn't dealing with depression or anxiety, but I couldn't even be grateful or acknowledge how much progress I had made with that, because I was so fixated on what I still did not have. And I feel like sometimes on this journey, when you're deep into the stuff that we tend to be deep into, a lot of the times we're more focused on the future than we are in the present. Even with my meditations, it was visualization, visualization, visualization. It wasn't about being present and in the moment. It was about dreaming about this life that I want to have. And it was when I had recorded, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with the tarot videos. Like, I'm just going to just exist. And I feel like right now I'm in that same exact space where it's like I'm not counting calories. I'm tired of like overthinking everything. If I don't, you know, if it's recording and I said I'm going to record, I'm going to follow through on that. But it's like outside of that, like if I'm really, really tired, like I canceled my dance class today and I love dance, but it's like physically, I did not feel like I wanted to push myself any more than I already had today. And I feel like there's something important about getting to the space where you are detached, getting to the space where it's like whatever happens, happens. And I know it's supposed to happen. But I feel like there's something about you needing to be in that space so that you can see how much progress that you have made. If you're not crashing out like you were a year, 2 years ago, it doesn't mean you're not crashing out at all. But if you're not crashing out to the same level of severity, if it's not taking you the same amount of time to recover, you need to acknowledge that that is progress. You need to, I was hearing this yesterday too. I was at Giant Eagle and the guy had gave me a free spicy mayo. So I like saved $1.50 and I just took a moment to just be grateful for that. And spirit just reminded me that you know, there's something so important about being grateful for every little thing that you receive, because one, it draws more of those beautiful things in your life to you, but it also makes you realize how many great things that you have around you. And so I feel like that could be something that you can practice every day to help ground your energy a little more, is just focusing on gratitude. Um yeah, we're at 21 minutes, so this is just going to be a channel message today. And then I'm also just drawing to remind you that the full moon is May 1st. It's at 1:23 p.m. 1:23 p.m. It is a flower moon, because you know our whole vibe the last 2 days have been like a lot around plants and the earth. You could be an earth sign. Your birthday could be coming up because we're getting into Taurus season. Taurus season could be significant for you. The month of May could be very significant for you. You could be receiving flowers. You could need to go buy yourself some flowers. But also with this being a full moon, and you know, full moon really being that time of like release, I feel like all of this is very much poetic and beautiful. I want you to also check your astrology, your chart, or just get like a general vibe of like what's going on planetarily. That's a word, because it can kind of help you understand like certain things, like you know, if you're very tired right now, like I feel like that's been sort of a theme of whatever we have going on right now. I don't know specifically, but like I feel like a general feeling of like tiredness or like needing to rest and recover are kind of huge themes right now. And I feel like with this new moon, just use it as an opportunity to release your fixation on where you think you should be right now. Like that is what this full moon should be about. I don't even think it should be about revisiting too far back in the past. Like I said, if anything, just look at your progress and acknowledge that. Um, and I think maybe the questions are questions that you should ask yourself. I don't think it's even, especially because this is went the way that this is went, I don't think it's something that I'm supposed to answer for you. I think it's something that you need to answer for yourself. Who are you? Outside of your accomplishments, outside of you know, being a mom, or, you know, whatever your job is, or whatever, you know, your degree is, like who are you outside of this external physical world? Like if you weren't attached to anything, if you weren't attached to any label, like who are you? And then what do you need right now? What do you need from yourself right now? What support do you need from spirit? Be very, 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 very specific. The universe responds to you know what I mean, to specifics. Being vague, it doesn't do well. And it's important for you to be very clear on your vision and what you want. And that's why it's important to answer who you are first, because then it's going to clarify why exactly you want what you want in your life. Yeah, I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer. That's it for this message. Thank you so much for your time and your energy and your support. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you feel led to. You can also follow me on TikTok at Diary of a Hermit. I post like my art stuff, and it's like more personal get to know me sort of vibe. I send you guys off with love. Have a good night.